Hi guys, I'm back on. I don't know what happened there, but I think it's the camera's on 30-minute shutdown on the live stream. Now for everybody to come back in. What do you want, Ben? Come and see, come on. Come on over. Hi guys. Camera went. Oh, you want feeding now, do you? Oh, I said guys, I just chuck some food in for the cat. Come on then. Yeah. Yeah, you like that, don't you? Hold on now. Right, that's that done. Yes, it is bad. Yeah, so in my second ever live stream, so feel free to talk about whatever you fancy. My person was at Milton Keynes last weekend through the phone, so actually using a camera to live stream and talk out is the first for everything. As you can see, I got absolutely nothing prepared, just wing it and see how it goes. Whatever you guys want to cover, really. Englishman, where are you from then? Are you Yorkshire boy or where? I thought Mike would have been on tonight, but he's always about, Mike is. Our audience is building up. You got 4 in the audience. Who's on then? Let me know, guys. Right, we'll have a recap and what's happening, what's going on with the channel. We're at a bit of an impasse at the moment. I got 25,000 subscribers, you boys know. But the problem we got is a lot of people aren't hitting the old notifications bell. So when I'm uploading the videos, you don't know they're coming. Greater Manchester, yeah, know it well. I was a truck driver for about 20 years before I started this nonsense, and explains the fat belly, the diabetes, and the no teeth, more or less. I like you, Power. You just come back in, all right, buddy? Who else is loitering in the background? I can see there's somebody loitering here, but they haven't mentioned anything yet. So I like you, Power, and wondering what's your main interest then? What bike stuff are you into? You know, what's I assume it's bike stuff because we're a bike channel. You know, it's Is it more the vintage stuff, like the Rally 3 spades? It's a Rally 3 spades. I don't fucking think so. It's the Rally 3 speeds, or more the modern stuff. Because I just tend to do whatever I feel like at the moment. It's because I haven't had no real. Come on, Ben. No real feedback from anyone. You want to say hello? Oh, come on, son. And anybody knows this is Ben. This was my rescue cat, where a local guy threw him in a litter out a year ago, and I kept this little guy, didn't I? You little bugger. And probably the best thing I ever done. Are you an e-biker? No, that's good, because if I show you here now. I'll be starting in a few weeks. Some lovely Tektro levers here for the Rally Evo 2. Because when I done the first video a year ago, I said I was going to do an e-bike conversion on it. I didn't get no real feedback, so I didn't know what to do. So I left it. And what happened the other week was, on the Rally Evo 2, they got these modern plastic levers, which are crap. And the hills around here, I adjusted it off to give me a bit more lever on it. And as I come down a steep hill by me, this just pulls straight out, and I had no rear brake. So I thought, right then, I'm going to get some pucker levers, some nice alloy levers instead of plastic. And it turned out there was e-bike levers. There's the sensor for the shut-off. So I decided now that, yeah, I'm going to do the e-bike conversion video on it. I know where I got to get. I'm waiting to get it, but I can't get nothing until next payday, January, until I can buy in the stuff to do it. So that's going to be the only problem that. So this month I'll be buying, so end of the month I'll be buying in the wiring loom, the 2-tier rack mount. That'll be this month. The electric 20-inch electric rear 250 watt motor for the rear wheel, and release the Rally hub for that. And rewire the loom, because the loom I want is for, I want to put a rear wheel drive, because most of the 20 inches are front wheel drive, and I think it's a bad design, because if you've got any slush or wetness on the road and you're pedaling and it powers the front wheel, it's gonna snatch your steering from my way I see things. Whereas if you've got all the weight is over the rear wheel, you're sat over the rear wheel, you have far better traction, far better hill control, better hill descent control as well. So I want to put a 250 watt rear hub, not a front wheel hub. I don't like the front wheel hubs at all. I think anybody who has a front wheel hub powered is asking for trouble, especially in slushy, icy conditions in the winter. I think it's a bad idea. So that's what we're going to be doing with the Evo 2 over the next 2 or 3 months. Because obviously I got to buy parts as I can afford it. Because like I said, I'm a full-time carer for my mother, so I only have about 800 quid a month. That's it, that's my lot. So that's going to be the job with that, and that's going to be the EV conversion on that. I might do a head-to-head on the Raleigh Stowaway 20, which is the new Stowaway, and the Evo 2 before and after conversion. And if you see my magnetic folding kit the other day out to do the conversion, I think that's a brilliant thing if you got one of these Raleighs. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think it's how they've gone with the UK's laws for limiting to 250 watt is ridiculous. The hills around here are literally like that, and 250 watt still is not enough for you to pedal the hills around here. Is a hill, the hill at the end of my street, Blythe Street, is probably about a 38 degree incline, and there's another hill at the end of the road called Heel Gerrig, and that's around about a 55, maybe 60% incline. It's fucking insane. And that's where I was on the other day when the brake lever pulled through, and I won't lie, I shit myself. I thought I was done for. So that's why we're changing that over. So I'm buying a 51 watt. Wait, who is that then? What bike is that? How much are they going for? Because some of these e-bikes are insane. It's like, I think the Raleigh Stowaway, Stowaway, £1,000. I think that's absolutely nuts for what the bike is. When you consider you can buy an Evo 2 and a conversion kit and do it yourself for about 500 quid on a brand new bike, I think is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, it does require a little bit of skill, nothing major. Yeah, I hope they don't sell out, because I would love to see it. If you when you get it, do you want to send me some pictures of it? If you go into my about section up in the top, it's got my email address in there. markhucker@gmx.com, and just put on a subject bikes, because you can imagine you get so much spoofing emails these days. Half my emails I don't read. Yeah, and just I'd like to see it, because I'd be interested, because a lot of these e-bikes, I think they are great as we get older. For the older generation, I'm 51, I think they are great. It's like the hills around here, I would love to do a lot more cycling, but the hills around here, you just can't. You just really can't. It's stupidly powerful kits. Yeah, where do you ride them to? Are you got licensed bikes, or how are you doing with yours? And careful what you say, because it's online, all right? So, you know, I'll say that because, yeah, you know Big Brother's always watching. So if you ride on the roads and that, don't say it, don't mention it. What Big Brother doesn't know, he doesn't need to know, all right? But yeah, I honestly think 2 powered hubs, fantastic. 1,000 watt, you need really minimum for around you, because again I said 250 watt. It's okay for places like, I don't know, Bristol, places like that. We got just nice gentle slopes and hills, and you got the downs. 250 watt is lovely, but the problem we got is the people who write these laws living in London, They only ever ride on flat roads. They've never seen a mountain. They've probably never even seen a farmer's ploughed field. They haven't got a clue. It's, you know, with the farmers stuff and that, they don't know. Yeah. And that's, yeah, like you're supposed to. Yeah, I agree with you there. It's yeah, it's like I said, his kids being arrested now for riding scooters and shit like that. Now, hang on, only a matter of months ago, the government was saying green issue, everything got to have a battery, everything's got to be environmentally friendly. So people go out, they buy e-bikes and stuff like that, as they can get to work. If you've got 1,000 e-bikes around London, what's better, 1,000 e-bikes or 1,000 cars? Well, it's got to be bikes, it's obvious, isn't it? You know, it's going to reduce the traffic, it's going to reduce the emissions. And as long as you toe the line, it's like, all you can do is 15.5 miles per hour and the power cuts off. Well, what about cars then? Average car today can do 100 miles an hour. So you're going to say then, right down, using that legislation, if your car is capable over 20 miles per hour in London, you're going to take the car off you if it's an e-car because it's doing more than 20 miles per hour. 20 miles per hour is the posted speed limit in certain areas, such as around Wales. But you can only do 15.5 miles per hour on a bike before it cuts off. But the law says you can do 30. You talk down to 1,000 watt, but yeah, I suppose you would, because obviously these aren't designed for that amount of torque through the chain. Yeah, well, the thing is, how I look at things, I was a main dealer tech for a long time with Mazda, Volkswagen and Rover. And if you watch, my main car I use most of the time in the winter is my MG6, which is fantastic fuel economy for a petrol. Get about 54 to the gallon. But I'm on say 800 quid a month. I will never be able to afford an electric car in the next 10 years. And once a car is 10 years old, the battery is knackered anyway. So you can buy a 10-year-old 3 Series BMW with a knackered battery, because BMW takes them back after 10 years, that's Mini included. So you take the battery back. So what have you got? You've got a 30 grand BMW that's worth nothing because it's got no battery. So you just paid, at 9 years old, 5 or 7 grand for a car, and now you've got to spend, a year later, you've got to spend another 10,000 for a battery. Who the hell is going to do that? I don't know. I'll run petrol until they switch off the pumps, because it's false economy. So you've got a car there which in the next 10 years is not going to cost £30,000 in repairs in 10 years. It's impossible. That's a complete rebuild of the car in 10 years. Never going to happen. Or you can switch it to an electric car, fork out £30,000 tomorrow, then in 10 years you've got to fork out another £10,000 for a battery. But by then the rest of the car is designed to fall apart anyway. Who the hell is going to buy that? I wouldn't. It's only the uber rich, the Londoners in their little bubble, is going to pay it. Yeah, with the car's environment. Again, the iPower bikes, they make excellent mountain bikes, off-road bikes. What's better? Have a 1,000 watt mountain bike up over the Black Mountains, up through Scotland, up through the Yorkshire moors, nice and quiet, zooming along or whirring along. You know, there's no sound from the batteries or nothing, or the motors, it'll just a little whirring. Or would it be better to have something like, I don't know, a DT250, something like that, or can you imagine the old, what was the engine, the RD125? It was a hell of a bike, the RD125. I had one when I was a kid. You know, and the sound that revving his tits off through the Yorkshire lanes and that, lovely and peaceful. In the background, you go wah wah wah. We got somebody on a nice little electric bike, zooming along, fantastic. There's just something wrong. Yeah, 30p a charge. Again, fantastic, isn't it? It's now around here at the moment, to get a train to London, a return, if you just go down and buy a ticket, I think it's £185 return on the train, return to London. Even in my petrol MG6, it'll still do it on 45 quid. So why would I, would I want to return on a train to London for a day out for £185, what I can do for 45 quid in the car? I'm going in a few months' time to the Warner Brothers Studios, to the Harry Potter thing. And again, if I wanted to go to that in North London, time to get an intercity down into London and get a coach or a bus taxi across London, you're talking over £200 just to get to one destination. Fill the tank up, you do it in no time. And again, my car now is 12 years old, it's probably worth £2,000 at most. So why would I want to buy a car costing 30 grand minimum when you can do it for on a car which costs £2,000, you can do the same job and more efficiently? You're going to stop to recharge the car halfway through. Then with the e-bikes, again, you can. I think it should be allowance, if as long as the bike can't exceed 30 miles an hour, so it's classed as a moped or something like that, you should be able to drive it. So say from your house, you live in Yorkshire, you're in old last of the summer wine territory, you're miles away from the city centre, you're miles away from anyone else. What harm are you doing driving from your little country cottage around the corner, other moors, and you're up all the mountains and gone? What harm is it? None. It's all this is about is that. And if they are about in London, where people are stealing people's phones and using e-bikes to get away, then just nick the individual. You know, it's they're still using draconian methods in this country to tar everyone with the same brush. Can you remember when Chris Evans smashed his Ferrari a few years ago? When he was dating Billie Piper, that's questionable for a start. And he was never pulled up over it. Now, just because he went speeding in his Ferrari, don't mean you're going to buy a Ferrari and do the same. But at the same token, they're going to limit your speed of your Ferrari because of something somebody else done, which I think is childish, to say the least. It's unfair. All right, so we got a couple of viewers logged off. So anyhow, right, so I call this a successful test tonight of the GoPro cam and doing a live stream. So I'm gonna log off now, guys. But anything you want to chat about, just post below, and we'll take it from there. Because it's yeah, I've enjoyed this. I know only a couple of you have been on. We had a couple of words. But it's nice feedback. So I had a feeling electric bikes was going to be the thing to go. I had a feeling about that. Because the couple I've done on the Rally Evo, and that's a bike which is begging for a conversion. Incidentally, the Rally Stow E-Way, I think is such an out-of-date design on that bike. It's a really out-of-date design. It's got the welded on cargo frame on the back, luggage rack carriers. So if you wanted to update the luggage rack carriers on the back, you can't. But for my money, the Stowaway is a far, far better bike. Or Evo 2 or Stowaway. Incidentally, if you don't know, the only difference between the Evo 2 and the Stowaway is the front fork. And if you see my video I done last week on fitting the folding magnetic kit, that's the Evo 2 is the one to go for, in my opinion. It's £150 cheaper than a Stowaway. Was available only from Halford, the Evo 2. It was the cheaper version of the Stowaway with a different front fork and had the magnetic folding kit on it from the factory. So it depends. If you're handy with a drill and you can do it yourself, go for the Evo 2. If not, buy the Stowaway and it'll already have the magnetic kit fitted. And that is essentially the only difference between the two. That and the brown saddle and grips and the Tektro alloy brake levers, which is exactly the same levers as these ones, which come on the Stowaway as opposed to the plastic ones on the Evo 2. So that's going to be the next video to watch. And I think, actually no not, I'm going to do the Retroglide video next. I've had this now for 6 months. I've been dying to do a video on it. I get a chance tomorrow. Alright then guys, thank you. Be nice having you guys watching. Down to one and say bye bye. Ta.